What's up, guys? SirAllAboutMusic here, bringing you another album review, continuation of my Cake discography. But before we get to the review, I have hit 300 subs. Thank you very much for all you lovely people who subscribed, to the 7 or so people that subbed today, and everyone, you guys are all awesome. It was like, I think I hit 200 like 2 weeks ago or something like that, so most of this is actually due to the Rock It Out blog, so thanks again to the Rock It Out blog. And I've been reading your guys' suggestions on my How to Improve SirAllAboutMusic channel, and I am loving them so far. I will definitely be getting around to responding to those as soon as I can get the time. But right now, we need to talk about Prolonging the Magic. The black sheep in the Cake discography, in my opinion. This album just doesn't feel as cohesive as the rest of their stuff does. This sounds more like... Every time I listen to it, it sounds more like a mixtape than anything. Now, don't get me wrong, the songs are great, everything about the album is great. It's just the overall feel and the connectivity between the songs, the flow, which is something that I'm I like to hear in an album. That kind of flow isn't there. It's not a very cohesive album, in my opinion. The songs are great. Cake kind of does a weird thing here. They fall back on their country influence more than what you hear on Fashion Nugget, but then they bring in the alternative rock that kind of defines Comfort Eagle, and progress. I mean, they progress, but in the same vein, they kind of fall back on their old style. You know, you got Mexico. Alpha Beta Parking Lot. Yeah, you got these songs that have like a country tinge to them, but aren't really as hardcore, that country western sound that you find on Motorcade of Generosity, right? And then you got your alternative rock songs, Never There being one of them. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, where would I be? I would classify that. Never There is definitely one. You Turn the Screws is another. And Satan Is My Motor is one of those interesting ones where I think both of those styles really come into play. It's got that quirky Cake alternative rock, but really, you know, it's got that I don't know, a country western feel to it. Really, I think it comes across in the guitar tone on that song. That kind of crunchy guitar tone is you hear a lot on Motorcade, and I mean that carries through on all of their albums pretty much. It slacks off in Pressure Chief. Anyway, that's not important. So yeah. I mean, it's a good album. It's a good album, and I have not, you know, regretted buying this album ever. It's just the real big stickler point for me is that it doesn't have a lot of cohesiveness. Honestly, I don't think it does. Other than that, I really don't have any complaints. And I mean, I already explained what it sounds like. It's kind of a throwback and a step forward for Cake in the same breath. This is the last album of what I think of as like classic Cake. Comfort Eagle was a big turn for them. You know, it's in keeping with their style, but it's just so different from the stuff that they've done. And Todd wrote, and they brought Zan McCurdy on in this album, I believe. And I think Todd Roper left before or during this album. So, you know, their lineup has gone through quite a few changes since the beginning, but yeah, this album really is their turning point, where they, you know, past this Comfort Eagle and Pressure Chief, and hopefully the new album that might be coming out this year, hopefully, have all really been, you know, a definite step away from their older style and that old kind of way of thinking for the band. So, now that I'm done babbling, let us get to the 4 big points. Originality, I think I don't have a complaint about originality, because Cake is one of those bands that you can't complain about them ripping off of people. I mean, they have such a unique sound. But I think in this they really kind of, I don't want to say they rip off of themselves, but you know, that whole throwback thing, you know, looking, I think just with this album, they're looking at their past work, and I think that reflects on it. So I wouldn't really call it ripping off, but I think that kind of ties into the originality, and maybe makes this album a little less adventurous than Fashion Nugget was. So that's originality. I like this album, like I said, I like it, but not one of my favorite. Yeah, it's lower on my list. I think, you know, honestly, this might be the one album the Cake album that I enjoy the least. Anyway, and that's not to say it's a bad album. It's just, you know, ranking, this would probably end up at the bottom, and we're not counting B-sides and rarities. Just the studio albums. So that's how much I like it. Like I said, flow, not so good. There isn't any kind of cohesiveness to this. It doesn't have its own distinct feel, really. It really sounds like a mixtape. It sounds like, you know, someone pulled from a bunch of different Cake albums and just, you know, stuck them together, and yeah, here's a mixtape. That's really what Prolonging the Magic sounds like. And production, again, you know, really, there's really no change in the production between Fashion Nugget and Prolonging the Magic at all. It's pretty much the same. So I have no complaints, just like I had no complaints with Fashion Nugget. So yeah, that's about all. I can give this album, this is hard. I can give this album a 7 out of 10, 6.5 to 7. I'm trying to stress that I don't hate it. I love this album. I mean, just chock full of good songs. But as an album, as a single unit, I really can't appreciate it to its full extent, probably. So that's what I got to say about that. SirAllAboutMusic, thanks again for watching, guys. You guys are fucking awesome. I can't do a video without saying fucking. I need to work on that too. And I'll talk to you guys later. See ya.